the set. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I was there at 7:30 and all of this stuff getting ready, but they said you have to get in the Batmobile. And I said, okay. So I went and got in the Batmobile. This is in Bronson Canyon. If any of you know where that is, it's in Hollywood Hills. And it was this famous scene of the Batmobile coming out of the Batcave. And that's where the sign, you know, Gotham City 14 miles goes down. So when I got in and I sat in the Batmobile, I looked over expecting to see Adam, but it wasn't Adam. Somebody else dressed as Batman. And I thought, gee, why is this? So I said, you're not Adam. And he says, no. Okay, very, you know, a lot to say this guy, almost nothing. I said, well, what are you doing here? He said, I'm a stuntman. I said, well, why are you here? Because this is a dangerous stunt. They hired me to do it because I'm used to getting broken bones. I said, why is it dangerous? Well, we got to come out at 55 miles an hour, got to race at the camera, make a sharp left turn, and, you know, things can happen, and that's why I'm doing it. So, well, do I have a stuntman? You got a better than 50-50 chance. Don't you worry about a thing. So we come out at about 55 miles an hour. This true story. First shot, make a sharp left turn. Unexpectedly, my door flies open. And because of the centrifugal force, I was thrown towards going out the door. And I just happened to reach around like this and caught my little finger on the around the gear shift knob and kept me from going out, but dislocated my finger. And it was quite painful if you ever have that happen. So they knocked the camera guy off the camera truck, knocked some of the lights over. It was really a bad accident. And I said, gee, this is really killing me. They said, Burt, we're going to get you to the emergency hospital just as soon as we finish the shot. It took 5 more takes before they got it right.
I'm just wondering how over the years you've maintained your energy and your health and your
formaldehyde. We're very well preserved.
You know, I think if you think funny, if you're an enthusiast, if you're curious about things, if you have a sense of humor, you can all look like us. That's right, Sonny. So keep that in mind. That's very nice of you to say, but I think we live pretty good lives. Yeah, well, not you, but Burt has the biggest swimming pool in captivity. There's a swimming pool that 2 people have tried to swim, channel swimmers, didn't make it. He does very well. It's one of the most difficult things to deal with in this business. When one creates a character, that it becomes beloved and goes on and on and on. I had a tough time for about 4 or 5 years. I just went out and I did dinner theater, I did regional, I did anything I could. I did some really crummy pictures, you know, just to keep working. But after 4 or 5 years, it began to change a bit. And now, you know, I look back and I think, I'm just damn grateful that I have Batman and you fans, and Family Guy, and my new fans. This is great. How many guys are that lucky?
In my case, during the hiatus of the first, I guess it was the second season. It was because we did the Batman movie, I think, the first season. But during the hiatus, during the second season, there was a producer at 20th Century Fox, the same studio that we filmed at, that had wanted me for a small, low-budget movie that was being done by 20th Century Fox. And his name was Larry Terman, and he's a very nice man. He said, Burt, I really want you for this role. And you know, wearing the costume and then being out of the costume, few people actually recognized me when I wasn't in the costume. But nevertheless, the studio, not the audience, said, no, we don't want to take Burt away from the role of Robin because we got a hit show. You know, it's all about dollars and cents. We don't want to dilute the imagery. So unfortunately, I got my first taste of it's like typecasting, where you don't get hired for something because they want to keep you where they got you. And that movie, anybody know, is called The Graduate? Yeah, and when I wasn't able to do it, they got Dustin Hoffman. So that's just one of the things that, but you know, when you have something that's great too, I mean, how many series could we be on? I mean, you know, I know Adam knows this and Lee knows this. You know, it's so funny, we meet people all the time. If you're an actor on a famous show, it's like, you know, a lot of people are thrilled to meet you. But when somebody that's on Batman and they introduce you, it's like a twinkle comes in people's eyes and a smirk comes across their face. That put the audience on. If you remember in those days, the cop shows were serious, the medical shows, Ben Casey and all this very serious stuff. But Batman, we used to say that we put on our tights to put on the world. In fact, we were the only superheroes that wore our underwear on the outside of our clothes.
Burt Ward, Lee Meriwether, Adam West, give it up for us.